Hello and welcome to BYJU'S IAS. Let's get started and look into our daily quiz. Let's look into the first question. Consider the following statement. Black-neck crane Grus nigricollis is the state bird of Arunachal Pradesh. Its IUCN status is endangered. Which of the above statements is or correct? The answer to this is none. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article here makes a mention of black-neck crane. What is the context? We have the Ladakh Union Territory Administration, which has now announced snow leopard as the state animal and black-neck crane as the state bird respectively of the Union Territory of Ladakh. Where is this black-neck crane found? It is found in the eastern part of the Ladakh region in the high altitude wetlands as well as marshes. When it comes to the IUCN status, it is near threatened and it is not endangered. Since both the options given here are wrong, the answer to this will be none. As part of the assignment, you have to put on the comment section which is the state bird of Arunachal Pradesh. Now, if you look into this article further, we have to understand the threats to these birds. What are these threats? Until now, there were areas which are not touched by the human beings. Now, they have become agricultural areas because humans have also ventured into those areas. Their habitats are captured by the human beings. Added to this, what they require is the undisturbed habitat region. What they require is the suitable water levels as well. That once again has been captured by the industrial activities. So on one side there is increase of the agriculture, on the other side there is industrial activities which is increased over a period of time. So those areas which were previously not occupied are in the condition where they are occupied because of the human presence, which is why this has become a threat to the black-neck crane in this region. Now let's look into the next practice question. With reference to Deputy Speaker of Lok Sabha, which of the following statements is or correct? The date of election of Deputy Speaker is fixed by the President. The Constitution sets a time limit for the process of these elections. Which of the statements are correct? The answer to this is none. Why? That is because the date of election of Deputy Speaker is not fixed by the President, but instead it is fixed by the Speaker, which is why the first statement is wrong. When you look into the second statement, it says Constitution sets a time limit for the process of these elections. There is no time limit prescribed by the Constitution. So what does the Constitution say? We have Article 93 of the Indian Constitution. What does it speak about? It speaks about the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker. So this article clearly points out that the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker will have to be appointed as soon as possible, but it does not give a prescribed time limit. What do we mean by time limit? It means the Constitution says that within a particular time, 1 month, 2 months or 3 months, there has to be an appointment or the selection of the Speaker or the Deputy Speaker. But the Constitution under Article 93 clearly points out that it is as soon as possible, but has not given a prescribed time limit. So when you say time limit, they would usually say it is 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, so on and so forth. But since it has not prescribed this time limit, again the second option will be wrong. So the answer to this would be none. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article here makes a mention of Deputy Speaker. So kindly remember, when it comes to the Deputy Speaker, he is not subordinate to the office of the Speaker. So just like how much the Speaker is respected as an institution in the Lok Sabha, similarly the Deputy Speaker is also respected and he is not subordinate to the Speaker. He is directly responsible to the House, and when the Speaker is not able to conduct his activities, it is the Deputy Speaker who will step in and perform all the duties with respect to the Lok Sabha. The institution of Speaker and the Deputy Speaker originated back in the year 1921. So this was under the provisions of the Government of India Act of 1919. These are some of the important provisions when it comes to the preliminary examination point of view. Now let's look into the next practice question. Which of the following reports is or published by International Labour Organization? Global Wage Report, World Employment and Social Outlook, World Social Protection Report. Which of them are published by the International Labour Organization? The answer to this is 1, 2 and 3. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article here makes a mention of International Labour Organization. When we look into the International Labour Organization, it is one of the United Nations agency. It was established by the Treaty of Versailles in 1919. After the Second World War, we know for the fact that many countries were under the fold of the colonial powers. The African countries, the South American countries, in fact many Southeast Asian countries, in fact India as well, was under the control of the colonial power. One of the international bodies which helped in decolonization happens to be the International Labour Organization. It was also one of the organizations which brought an end to the apartheid movement in South Africa, where it created a large-scale awareness on the international forum, which is why it was also given a Nobel Peace Prize back in the year 1969 for the commendable job that it has done for a number of years. Now, if you look into the options, we have the Global Wage Report, which is published by the International Labour Organization. What does it do? It examines how wages as a concept evolved from a very early age. It gives a unique picture and idea about how much wages are given in one country, compares it with another country, and also gives a report about the minimum wages in a specific country, compares it at the global level, and gives an idea about the inequality that is persisting in the society. Then it publishes the World Employment and Social Outlook. This is an annual report which gives us an idea of unemployment, labor underutilization, working poverty, income inequality, labor income share, and all those factors that is required in reference to the decent work. So this is once again published by the International Labour Organization. Finally, what we have is the World Social Protection Report. What is this Social Protection Report? There are three viewpoints to this report. One, it considers the children. Is there any social protection scheme? Next, it takes into picture the women, and finally it also considers the men as well. So what do we understand by social protection? Basically, do we have any of the schemes at the national level, at the state level, that is provided for the healthcare, for the income security measures, especially old age, unemployment, sickness, disability, work injury, maternity, or the loss of main breadwinner in a family? So in case there is a person who's lost his job, will the government provide unemployment allowance? We have seen that in United States of America, we have seen that in many Scandinavian countries. Or if a person reaches a particular age where he takes a retirement period, will the government provide him retirement benefits apart from the pension? So what is that the government provides, what is that the state accommodates to the citizens in that country, is what is this World Social Protection Report. So it compares countries and it also gives an idea about what is happening in a respective country. It also gives information about the progress towards the universal health coverage in that country, and at the same time it will also ensure that if adequate financing and strengthening measures are taken in that country, so that they are able to achieve the sustainable developmental goals. So taking into picture all these aspects, we have the World Social Protection Report, which is published by the International Labour Organization. It is this that we have to understand in reference to this article. Now let's look into the next practice question. Consider the following statement. Coal-fired power accounts for more than 90% of India's electricity generation. China is the leading coal producer worldwide. Which of the above statements is or incorrect? Since it is asking for the incorrect statement, the answer to this is one only. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article here makes a mention of coal. It says India has urged utilities to import coal despite having the world's fourth largest reserves, with several power plants on the verge of running out of the fuel due to surge in the power demand. Further, it says that coal-fired power plants account for more than 70% of the India's electricity generation. So it is not 90%, but instead it is 70%. We know for the fact that one of the largest producers in the world with respect to the coal happens to be China. So these two options clearly point out that the first statement is wrong because it is not 90%, and the second statement is right. Since the question is asking for the incorrect statement, it would be one only. As part of the assignment, you have to put on the comment section which are the 5 largest coal producing countries in the world. So the first happens to be China. Which are the other 4? Put it on the comment section. Now let's look into the next practice question. Consider the following: bats, bears, rodents. The phenomenon of hibernation can be observed in which of the above kinds of animals? 1 and 2 only, 2 only, 1, 2 and 3. Hibernation cannot be observed in any of the above. The answer to this is 1, 2 and 3. This happens to be a previous year question from the year 2014. So what is this hibernation? Basically, you have animals which work. They have to work in the form of not like the human beings where we go to an organization, so on and so forth, but they also have to work where they have to feed themselves as well as their children. But when it comes to some species, they engage in what is called as hibernation. What is an hibernation? Basically, they suspend all their working activities. They make sure that they save energy during a particular period, especially during the winter. So those animals where their body temperature drops, animal slows down its heart rate to save the energy and its breathing activities slow down for a specific duration of time where they do not consume much of energy is what is called as hibernation. So basically, some of the animals slow down their activities. They also go into deep sleep as well during a specific period, especially during the winter, is what is called as hibernation. So what is hibernation? They do not want to work during a specific period, so their activities are temporarily suspended, or they slow down their activities, they sleep a lot so that they are able to consume less amount of energy, is what is called as hibernation. So if you look into this question, bats, bears and rodents, all of them engage into this activity of hibernation. So the answer to this would be 1, 2 and 3. Now let's look into the fact of the day. The fact of the day for today's discussion is exercise ZAPAD. What is this exercise all about? There is a contingent of about 200 army personnel who will participate in one of the multinational exercises called as ZAPAD. Where it will be held? It will be held in Zizny in Russia between September 3rd to September 16th. What is this all about? This happens to be one of the exercises which is undertaken under the leadership or the vanguard of Russia, where they will try and understand how to focus primarily on dismantling the operations of the terrorists. So basically, we have different terrorist organizations and groupings which operate world over. Understanding their ideology, how they work and dismantling their structure is the very objective of this ZAPAD exercise. In this ZAPAD exercise, we have multiple countries participating, as many as 9 participating countries, and we also have China and Pakistan, which will also be the observer countries as well. So what will happen during this period? Those countries which are participating in this process will help other country understand how terrorist structure can be completely eliminated, or it can be reduced such that this whole organization does not work effectively. So the exercise ZAPAD enhances the military and strategic ties amongst each other so that they would be able to bring an end to the issues of terrorism. Apart from this, we have another exercise called as Kasinth. What is Kasinth? This is an exercise between India and Kazakhstan. Now, India would also be engaging in the 5th edition of the annual bilateral exercises between India as well as Kazakhstan. So Kasinth happens to be a military exercise between India and Kazakhstan. The scope of all these exercises include professional exchange, planning and executing of operations in counter-terrorism environment, and ultimately sharing the expertise of one group with another is what is the intention of all these exercises. When it comes to the 200 personnel who have now been to Russia, they were put through a strenuous training schedule which comprises of all facets of conventional operations, including mechanized airborne, heliborne, counter-terrorism, combat conditioning and firing as well. It is this that we have to understand in reference to this article. So this is it for today. Thank you for watching. All the best.